Welcome back to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. It is the last session of the weekend for the GRIDLIFE Track Battle Championship. This is Podium Sprint. Kyle Iyer joined by Jacob Gettens. Jacob, this is the last session of the weekend, and this is where the podiums are set for each of our track battle competition groups. We don't offer trophies to Super Unlimited, but everybody else is fighting for points and fighting for trophies here. We're going to wipe the lap times, start all over again, and Jacob, I'm really excited to get this underway. This is a format that has been absolutely thrilling to watch, and you got to get it done now on this course.
Yeah, every single corner means everything to these drivers. Through one, keeping that speed, getting as late on the brakes through two, and getting through that double apex, slinging that car all the way down to three, and trying to hold as much speed through that section into four, and then you become very, very brave through turn five, and then that turn six that you love so much.
Yeah, it's such a fast corner that you got to have bravery. The faster classes you get, the more downforce you have to lean on, and then you're flying up the hill after that quick flick to the left, up on the Rahal straight. It will take you to basically what feels like you're driving off a cliff, down on the brakes to about 48 miles an hour for some of these cars, drop down 4 stories, and then through righty curve, again continuing to drop down an additional 4 to 6 stories all the way to turn number 10, a fast right-hander that you have to get brave to lean on because the track flattens out at the exit to turn 11. That will take you back to the front straightaway. In Falcon Club SC, which is our first group that's on track, you're going to do it about 1 minute and 50 seconds, but you got to carry as much momentum as possible, Jacob. So Falcon Club SC, of course, this is our entry-level category here that we talk about, and that means 25 pounds per horsepower, thereabouts, and this is going to set you up with cars like a Honda Fit, like the Honda Civic, maybe a Toyota Corolla or a Kia Rio or something of the sort. The class record so far, 149.658 from Mike Jansen, and you're looking at about 100 horsepower, but if we look at the points for this championship as well, it's notable that Mike Jansen's also leading the standings here over Sam Dooling, and these two are both going to be present in the Podium Sprint on track now.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty epic, and really with SC, a lot of it's just how much momentum can you carry, how much can you stay away from the brake pedal, because their top speed and their minimum speed are not that far off from each other, so it becomes very much a momentum game all the way through this track. And it'll be, you know, you might be looking at these going, oh, they're not all that fast, and I understand that, but it is incredibly exciting because these cars still get very, very wonky through corners, and there's so much bravery to be able to take a Honda Fit or a Civic or a Rio around this track and just give it 10/10s the entire time.
There's Matthew Reinhardt headed up towards the corkscrew again. You're going to be gridded by your qualifying time, which means Mike Jansen and Sam Dooling were the first 2 drivers out. Robert Miller is out there as well, Courtney Ward and Matthew Reinhardt, who we're watching on screen. He's your number 5 seed. Just because you're on the racetrack doesn't mean you're guaranteed a podium. You have to finish top 3 in order to win one of those trophies. This is the driver that the seeding says should win this race, or so should win this competition, I should say, but you have 3 laps to set your best time.
Yeah, just because you had a great weekend so far, I mean, vehicles break, things happen, the pressure gets to you. It's such a different race at this point in time because you know you don't have more sessions, you know you don't have more time. You've got 3 laps and you throw one of them away with a silly mistake, and then you're down to 2, and then the pressure is really on. So for Mike Jansen, he's been incredible all weekend, he's been incredible all season, and it just really comes down. This is one of the final times he's going to be getting to do this, so let's see what kind of time Mike Jansen's able to throw down on his first flyer here at Laguna Seca.
And the time that he set earlier this weekend, a 149.658, that is the track record, so he'll pick up an extra point regardless. We scale the Track Battle Series on a 25-point scale, so if you win the event, it's 25 points. If you win a drivetrain class record, which means front and rear and all-wheel drive subdivisions, if you get any of those records, then you would get an extra point. Now, the differentiator there is that you have to reset a record. The first time a record is set is a benchmark. It will not count. So if, let's say, an all-wheel drive Club SC car were to show up here, that wouldn't be an extra point. But in front-wheel drive, Mike Jansen currently has that point. Sam Dooling would like to take it back.
Yeah, and there's a solid shot at him doing this. We're not really expecting a ton of records to fall, but crazier things have happened, especially when you've got an entire track basically to yourself. And I mean, a bunch of heat's been put into it, and you get that setup right, anything is possible, especially here.
All right, so this should be the first lap time for Jansen, a 152.129. That's the benchmark time that everyone's going to be chasing now. Sam Dooling should be coming across the line here any moment. We'll see if he jumps ahead of the 156. He does, 152.093, and now Dooling is ahead. Let's see what Bob Miller can do in the Kia Rio in behind. His qualifying time was a little bit behind, so I'm not sure that he's necessarily geared up to win this event, but certainly podium based on his qualifying time on the line.
Yeah, I did think that Jansen's time was a little bit safe considering what he's been able to put down all weekend. So just get that first one in. But Sam Dooling right now sitting on that top spot, and we'll see if Miller in the Rio can top that. And his time comes in at a just over 2-minute flat, so not quite there yet.
I think Courtney Ward and Matthew Reinhardt have a pretty good chance to knock Miller off that third step as well. So Courtney Ward comes in at a 2:01.058. That's a battle for third, but Dooling down into turn 5 here. He's had a couple offs this weekend, chasing track records, chasing time. And for the championship, you really would like the win and the record, but that might be unlikely based on the track conditions we saw this morning, and Jansen's really impressive, 49.6.
Yeah, very, very impressive for Dooling. Maybe getting that notification in his headset that he's currently holding that top spot, but I'd also be telling him, hey, Jansen's first lap is not indicative of what he's actually able to do. But for Dooling, this is one of the spots that he can either make or break this entire run. Look at that dive in. Wow, getting hard on the brakes coming through. Can he hang on to it? Holy Dooling.
He is absolutely committed and turned in, got nice rotation on the nose, and then just drove down the hill using the gravity assist. Maybe the Honda doesn't have more than 95 horsepower, but the Earth's got negative 9.8 meters per second squared to pull that thing down the hill. So.
Damn, grade 9 physics coming back to haunt me, sir.
There we go.
All right.
Let's see what Jansen can respond with across the stripe. He'll be coming about now, and we'll see if it goes green or yellow. To the top of the board, Jansen 150.847. Here comes Dooling. It's going to have to be 2 seconds better than last time around, and it is quicker, but not quick enough. 151.008. This is their final lap.
Wow, okay, this will be interesting now. For Jansen, looks like he's still keeping some pace, but that might be enough for him. He threw in 2 heater laps, and it's a little hard to tell with this series how much pace he's really putting in it through this section, but for me, I really think Jansen's going to be back on it, at least trying to make sure that he can defend that time or have something else come up. For Dooling, it is completely do or die, as the rest of our competitors should be coming across the line here shortly.
About a tenth and a half between these two. It's incredibly tight at the top of the board. And again, this is an entry-level class, but it doesn't mean that the competition is entry-level. It's some of the fiercest that we've ever seen in GRIDLIFE track battle. There's the difference, 0.161, 2.2 miles. And there's a blink of an eye between two of these cars, a Honda Civic and a Honda Fit.
And it looks like Courtney Ward now jumping up into third, and getting that over Miller in pretty good fashion as well. So a little bit about 6/10 over that. So that's a pretty good improvement.
Yeah, we'll see how Reinhardt can respond in that number 343. That's the newer generation Honda Fit, the GK, the blue car that we saw at the top of the show. Jansen down the hill for the final time here. This will be his last chance to defend from Dooling, but he is ahead by about a tenth and a half.
Be interesting. He took that corkscrew pretty rough, and I don't know if he's able to keep the momentum all the way through it. Definitely making a phone call to a chiropractor once this weekend is over, coming through 11, and we're checking in on a few other competitors.
Here's Miller in the 433. This is the Kia Rio that needs to go back on top to grab third place back as the number 3 seed. Jansen across the line. We'll see if it's a green or a yellow. It is a green, a 150.589. Puts Dooling deeper in the hole. Can Sam Dooling carve this away and get back on top here at Falcon Club SC? He does not.
Wow. So that's pretty crazy. Jansen once again just keeping that dominance going all the way through as we keep eyes here on this Rio, and we'll be able to take back that third spot from Ward.
That was a great lap by Jansen, and that's within a second of the track record lap time that was set this morning in ideal conditions. But for Robert Miller, his goal beat Courtney Ward's time. She set a 1:59.060, so he needs 0.6 of a second in order to go back up and grab a trophy here across the stripe for Robert Miller in the Kia Rio. If it's a yellow blink, he didn't improve. If it's green and a shift up the positions, he's got it. It is green, but not enough. So Courtney Ward, as long as Matthew Reinhardt doesn't go quicker, is going to steal a podium.
Wow, good job from a driver that had a bit of a rough start, having to take that splitter off. And you can see a little bit of that that vinyl chewed up there from just a bit of an off earlier on this weekend. So a big comeback there for Courtney Ward, currently sitting third, but you never know.
And the last car we're waiting for is Matthew Reinhardt, another driver that came all the way across the country. Well, this time from Salt Lake City, Utah, not quite the Michigan that Sam Dooling came from in his Honda Fit, driving it to the event. But as long as Reinhardt doesn't improve, Courtney Ward is going to beat out Bob Miller for third place in that podium sprint. I don't know where that 343 is. I don't think I've seen him.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he just got that one lap in and then that was it. So That should have had a time across the board by now.
Yeah. So I think that'll be it. Matthew Reinhardt will stay 5th. Let's have a quick look here at your results for Podium Sprint in the GRIDLIFE Track Battle event here in Club SC. Mike Jansen, 26 points on the weekend, 25 here with this session, and 1 for the track record set earlier this weekend. Sam Dooling and Courtney Ward will be on the podium alongside him.
Yeah, great work. And for Robert Miller, just being eked out just a little bit, keeping him off that top step, and I'm pretty sure Matthew Reinhardt got that 1 lap in, and then choosing to take it back to the pit. So great job from this Club SC group.
Yeah, and again, Mike Jansen and Sam Dooling have been going back and forth all season long, and I don't know that there's much left for Dooling to get at pit race. I think he's going to be stuck in 2nd, despite a valiant effort here. But he really pushed the limits. We saw him in the practices and qualifyings earlier this weekend, jumping over the corkscrew, really trying to find any time that he could, just could not quite get there. Maybe we'll hope to hear from these guys in just a moment's time, but the Falcon Club TR class is going to be on track now.
As we can hear the engine starting to go by, and we get that first flag waved to get out. All of our competitors here from TR, so Mario Moroni will be the first one out. And here are the specs if you're interested in it. This is how you put together one of those cars. A lot of great chassis to choose from in a pretty reasonable price range.
Yeah, and just like Club SC, you're on a spec 255 with Falcon RT660 Plus or RT660 tire. Looking at power, about 170 to 230 horsepower. Mario Moroni, track record this weekend and leading the points. Have a look there. 87 points over Peter Granberg with 86. And look at all the other cars that are right in the mix. 5 cars within 7 points. That's the difference between 1st and 3rd at one singular event. So Mario Moroni's goal is just to go home with 26 points and hopefully give himself the best possible chance of stealing a title heading to pit race next month.
Yeah, this, I mean, to complete this championship and really to stand on the ultimate top step, it's still going to be a pretty heavy lift going on right now, and he's had a great weekend so far. Nothing really crazy to report at any point in time, which is the weekend you want to have. No news is good news when it comes to racing, but really, he's still only got 3 laps to get it done and to stand at the top step at the end of this weekend.
And here he comes down the hill in this K-Series Honda Civic EG. This has been a car that we've seen in Club TR quite a bit, actually, and this car actually fairly reminiscent of Eric Cattill's old hatch that he ran in about GLTC a couple years ago. Has sort of a similar silhouette, but this car is a blast to drive. We're going to watch him start his lap, but let's head down with our Falcon Club SC winner, Mike Jansen, who's standing by with Jonathan Grace.
Mike Jansen, your Podium Sprint winner in Club SC. 26 points on the weekend now, track record, and now the Podium Sprint wins. Got to feel good to seal it up like this on a Sunday.
Well, I'm just now finding out I won, so yeah, that feels pretty good.
You didn't know before?
No, I had no idea.
150.58, my friend. You're on top.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Give me your reactions on the weekend. How much does it mean to put it together like this?
It's been an amazing weekend. I love this track. It's easily my number 1. I don't have words right now.
Only fitting that you're on top then. That's our Club SC Podium Sprint winner, Mike Jansen, guys.
Thanks, Jonathan. Congratulations to Mike Jansen. I didn't realize this. We haven't really had the chance to do live interviews with the winners in Podium Sprint yet this year. They're going to learn that they won when Jonathan goes up to talk to them. That's how cool is that?
Like I said, Jonathan's got the best job of the weekend between the 3 of us. He's getting all the smiles. I mean, he's doing such a great job. But there's been an absolute pleasure to work with both yourself and him this weekend.
Yeah, so Moroni's car, I was just about to talk about how challenging of a season it's been at times. You know, he's really come out on top at Autobahn Country Club. He benefited from a mistake from Peter Granberg to go off and win the Podium Sprint. But at times, this car is a handful in the braking zones with rear locking, kind of going into the corner really hot, but it's looked very composed this weekend, and I'm not sure if he's going 10/10ths or if he's holding a little bit back, but the driving we've seen out of Mario this weekend has been very consistent and just what he needs to do to go off to win this event. He's reset the record by quite a bit, but again, he just has to make sure he gets a banker lap in here and don't throw it all away.
He's really found the balance in the car. At no point did it look squirrely or like he was fighting it, so that old adage of smooth is fast has really come through. Like, that is a non-dramatic exit through 11, but I'm sure his time is going to be representative of how quick he really is. He's coming across the line now. We'll see what Mario Moroni does with a 140.423, pretty solid.
Yeah, it's a solid lap, but it seems like a banker for me as we jump back. Ooh, big clunk down the hill for the 786 of Flagurzi. That's a solid lap, but again, look at Fregoso, Alexis Fregoso, his closest competition, just ran a 141.4 as well. So it's a couple seconds off of his best, but he doesn't need to improve. He just needs to stay ahead of everyone else. Here's Jeff Flagurzi in that 86. Ramirez comes across the line at a 43.3. then Jake Montanola, and then Jeff Lagurzi, the last seed here in this field. Montanola jumped up to 3rd place.
And yeah, we'll get our last competitor across the line, Jeff Lagurzi.
This is one of those FA24 swap cars, the 2nd generation motor from the newer GR86 and BRZ. And a 145.2 to start this session off. So Jake Montanola's hopped a seating. He's gone from 4th to 3rd. Alexis Fregoso's out there in that Acura RSX. 2 front-wheel drive cars leading 3 rear-wheel drive cars. So then here is a native FA24 car, the GR86 of Jared Ramirez.
Yeah, so we'll see if he's able to improve that time. I think he's got the pace in it for sure. It's just a matter of getting it all together. I believe it looks like all of the competitors kind of putting in a bit of a safe lap on that first turn.
Yeah, again, banker lap. That's the strategy. You can lap a couple times with these Falcon RT 660 pluses. So I think for most of the drivers, you're going to do a safe lap. Make sure you don't make a mistake. You're testing out what the track conditions feel like. It's been a while since you've been on course first thing this morning at about, what, 9:30 a.m.? So it's been a long time. So work back up to it. Mario Moroni picks up to a 138.5. That's going to be tough for anybody to lose so much amount.
Yeah, that was the lap that we were kind of looking for. Definitely a sub 140, what he's been known for all weekend. And now we get into a few more for Gozo. 144.34, so not quite where it needs to be. Take over Moroni.
And here comes Jared Ramirez, which is the number 3 seed. It would be an upset if he got knocked off the podium based on the times from qualifying. We should see him go green this time, and we will see him jump up to 3rd place. 149.79, just half a second back from Fregoso.
Yeah, and taking that spot back from Montanola, who's now got their best lap time in, but not quite where you want to be to get on the podium. 141.298.
Just 3/10 between them, and then we'll see if Lagurzi can jump back after that slip up in the corkscrew last time around. And here is a look at Jake Montanola in that Honda S2000. That thing is really pretty, isn't it?
Yeah, super, super pretty. Another flat gray car going around, but Lagurzi not able to improve the time. 145.249 will stand after that lap. So all the drivers now get the last shot at it here at Laguna Seca.
Yeah, and again, we haven't really seen a ton of super deep competition in this class this weekend. We have 24 cars in Street Mod. Our class record entry size is, I think, about 28 or 29 cars in Falcon Club TR out in the Midwest. So only 7 cars in this group this weekend is a pretty small field, and it really hasn't shifted a lot this weekend. Moroni's really been on top all weekend long. So if anything else happened, it would be a huge upset.
Yeah, that chassis is just, I mean, it's incredible. It shows that Honda nailed things very, very early on, and that's not to take anything away from Moroni, who's just an absolute expert in the setup and handling of that car and making, as I said earlier, making smooth go fast.
Oh, Moroni picked up even more time on his final lap. He's done with a 138.503, so that should be enough to hang on. Fregoso had a nice pickup, though, 139.297 in the Acura RSX. And Ramirez will be the next car across the stripe, trying to hold on to 3rd place as we watch Jake Montanola navigate turn 11.
Yeah, Montanola's got a good lap going on right now. As long as 11 looks good, it might be competitive to get back onto that 3rd step. So Ramirez across the line doesn't improve, 149.79. So now Montanola, all comes down to it right now.
And he will get closer, but not close enough. 141.277. Jake Montanola stays in 4th. And Jeff Lagurzi, I don't know that he's quite got enough to knock these drivers off the top step here this weekend.
A couple of tenths separating 3rd and 4th. That is a bit of a heartbreak there for Montanola, who should be just very proud of the effort put together. And to know that you're able to take it to Ramirez like that and make him sweat just a bit, that could be its own podium.
Yeah, Mario Moroni all the way from Ohio, making it a long trip here to just kind of slam dunk on the California crowd. Again, they put up a good effort here in Podium Sprint, but Mario's car is pointy and Falcon Club TR. He is really well prepped, and he's going to go back to pit race now with a number of points that is going to make things a little bit more challenging. Though, given what we've seen this year in Falcon Club TR, I don't know that he's necessarily a favorite to win at pit race. Certainly in the conversation, but if I add 26 points to his season, that gives me 94. If Peter Granberg goes to pit race and wins that with a record, that's 96. So it's still not a slam dunk. Now, if Granberg goes to pit race and only gets 2nd with a record, that's 92, and Moroni would win. Now, let's really throw this all into the weeds here. Let's pretend Evan McLaren goes to pit race and wins like he did last year. 95 points for McLaren versus 94 for Moroni. That's how tight things are going into our last round of the season.
So what you're telling me is that TR is the one to tune into when it comes to pit race in a few weeks?
Yeah, TR stands for tune into the race.
Man, you nailed that one. There was no hesitation, nothing.
I'm so creative. But Maroney's going to head back into the paddock, and hopefully we'll hear from him before we turn our street cars loose on the racetrack here in just a moment's time. But man, what a job well done. Alexis Fragoso, didn't really get to see a lot of him here, but very consistent, solid laps, and had Maroney probably sweating in some of those morning sessions. There's a look at the results. Mario Maroney, a 138.503, is going to get the job done here. About a second slower than the track record that he reset, though, so 26 points. Fragoso will have 21, then 18 for Ramirez, 16 for Montanola, and 15 points for Jeff Lagurzi.
Yeah, great shootout here. It was an awesome sprint, and I mean, this can really make this type of racing so much more exciting. What a great job from the GRIDLIFE team to swap over to this format.
All right, it is street class time. Here's a look at the class overview for street class. The track record is still from 2023. Luca Barbera still holds that pretty strong. Street legal vehicles here, OEM Aero, minor bolt-on modifications, and you're restricted to 285 on front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive cars, and 255 on all-wheel drive cars. And again, the car at the very pointy end of that shot, the 777, that is Joshua Hulka, who is the top seed in this group. And the car in second there is Willem Dries. And again, the points loading here will show you Joshua Hulka up on top. But it doesn't really matter what Josh Hulka does here, because if Andy Holst goes to pit race and wins that, Hulka's going to lose the championship. That's just how simple it is. Even though Hulka's all the way out here and he's going to have 4 wins, Holst is going to have 4 wins and has defeated Hulka this year. So that would be the tiebreaker. But Willem Dries there came in tied with Mike Coons. Opportunity for him to alley-oop and grab a couple more points.
Yeah. There's still a lot going on with it. I didn't realize that was the tiebreaker. If they beat somebody else, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, head-to-head wins in time attack, followed by your Midwest Festival winner. But let's chat with our Falcon Club TR winner, Mario Maroney. It's been a long haul, Jonathan Grace, and Maroney had a great banker, and again, not quite within the track record, but he's there on top. Let's chat with him.
Mario Maroney, Mario, we talked earlier in the weekend about some of the targets you wanted to hit. I think this is one of them. P1 here at the end of the podium sprint for Club TR. You needed it done. You got it done by almost 0.8 of a second.
Yeah, so that was the strategy. Lay down a fast lap, so that will give me a good indication on what the pace was. I wanted to kind of play it safe. I'm actually like about a second off my PB, and that is also understandable. You know, track conditions are not the same, and also I still haven't finished business at pit race, and she's now ready to go on the trailer, long haul to Ohio, and let's get ready to brawl at pit race.
How much momentum does this give you heading into the final round at pit race?
I am riding my high right now, but at the same time, you can't really underestimate the competition. You know, Pete Gramber is going to be there. My buddy Evan McLaren is going to be there, and Stan Fangold. It's going to be about the last 10th of a second.
We've got the track record and now the win in Podium Sprinting Club TR. Plenty of momentum for Mario Maroney, guys.
Thanks, Jonathan. Congratulations to Mario Maroney. And that pit race battle, you better tune in. That was so much fun to watch. And Josh Hulka is the top seed here in this one, and it'll be Willem Dries, Rafael Guerrero, Luke Lederman, and Jeremy Eaton that are out there. And the car that you're looking at there is Rafael Guerrero in the Tesla Model 3. It's the most different of any car here, but what an eclectic group of cars. A Subaru Impreza, a Hyundai Elantra, and a Tesla Model 3, a Porsche 718 Cayman, and a BMW M3. What a group.
Yeah, what an amazing group, and it just shows you how competitive this group is. We got a mix of all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive. So, yeah, street is a very interesting class when it comes to these track battles.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. Joshua Hulka sets a 137.503 to start this session, and the time he was chasing to get the record is still Luca Barbera's 134, but Joshua's best time of the weekend is a 36.2. I'm not sure he's going to quite get back to it, but that's the time to chase for everyone else. See what Willem Dries can do, not quite faster, 138.764.
Yeah, so still a little bit off the pace as we keep the camera right now on Guerrero in that Tesla. How is it going to be able to handle? Ooh, doing a great job getting right out to the line, getting a very good dig out of turn 11. And as he gets up to the line, how's that going to move him up into the standings? Sits there in third, 139.093. So needs just a little bit more, carrying that momentum down into 2, though. Ooh,
yeah, Luke Lederman. Yeah, Luke Lederman in the Porsche Cayman. You see him at the back of the shot there. He might actually close up on that Tesla Model 3. at the moment. But so far, no upsets, no changes in the seeding. Willem Dries is still second, Guerrero in third, and Eaton in fifth, with Luke Lederman in fourth, Joshua Halka still out front. So, you know, the podium sprint in general, you know, isn't designed to upset the apple cart. It's not necessarily to overturn things. It's just to set the podium in a guaranteed part of the day. And for Halka, again, it would be a huge upset if he weren't to win this. But again, his advantage this weekend was by about a second or two, so he doesn't have to push 10 tenths, I don't think, to claim this victory this weekend. But this Porsche Cayman, look how pretty this car is.
Oh, it looks so good going all the way around. It's a little strange to see it trailing behind a Tesla, but that's where technology is at now. And I mean, I know between the two which one I'd be buying if I had the money.
You and me both, but
yeah.
But either way, I mean, the Porsche Cayman, what a neat car. And we see Brad Moore drive one in the street category out in the Midwest, one of our front runners in the championship standings. Joshua Halka, no pickup on lap 2. He might save some energy for that third lap, and he might need to, because Willem Dries closing in a little bit. Slight pickup there for Dries, a 1:38.746, but he still needs 1.2 seconds to get ahead of Halka and go home with the win.
Yeah, Halka might be sitting on a very, very good first lap, and we'll see if he turns something a little bit quicker as he comes around for his third one. But right now, we get that Tesla and the Porsche in the same shot. Porsche getting a little bit wide. For Guerrero, is he going to be able to improve just a little bit? 1:38.910.
And that is within 2 tenths of Dries, and Lederman stays at a 39.9. Here's Joshua Halka, your championship leader. And again, to defend from Andy Holst, 26 points. Well, he's only going to have 25 because he won't have the record here this weekend. 25 points is helpful, but I think he really needs to go to pit race and have a stab at the record there just to defend from Andy Holst.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a trek, but might be worth it. Look at Halka having some fun coming through. This is why he's leading this. He's taking those risks, and he's able to get back on the throttle. All-wheel drive coming into a bit of play here through this land. Look at that, bit of a four-wheel slide coming through.
And this is his last lap, so if he wants to defend any more from Dries or Guerrero, he's got to get it done here. And again, he's well ahead, but you never want to rest on your past experiences, your past laps on this racetrack. You got to dig every moment. Here he comes out of 11. And for Joshua Halka, up across the start-finish line, checkered flag for street class, and Halka, no pickup, stays at the 37.5.
Yeah, just having fun on that last lap, and we'll see if the rest of the competitors start to come in. For Dries, he'll be next across the line. He'll hopefully increase that as we get to take a look there at Lederman.
No pickup for Dries, stays at the 38.7. So that'll be second place, 22 points to their championship. That's not a bad round at all, considering they didn't even make the podium sprint at Audubon Country Club a couple of weeks ago. Guerrero in that, there's the Willem Dries car. So they've wrapped up, they've finished out their laps, but there's a look at that 4CC6. Not the same car they started the season with, but it's the car that they're going to finish the season with, largely similar in many ways to the car that they had crashed at Road America.
Seeing a bit of a change in the transmission, I believe.
Yeah, so this is the DCT version. They had the 6-speed manual before, and the DCT comes with the sunroof, so a little bit more weight to carry around, and they were struggling with the differential just to kind of get that car to accelerate the way that they wanted to. But all things considered, going up against Halka's car, not a bad drive at all. Eaton picks up, but no changes in street class from the seating, so it's Joshua Halka that's going to win over Willem Dries, Rafael Guerrero, Luke Lederman, and Jeremy Eaton. And that was sort of exactly as we expected. Again, Halka putting it down, the 777 Subaru WRX, Willem Dries in the Hyundai Elantra N, Rafael Guerrero, Luke Lederman, and Jeremy Eaton there. But look at the times, how close they were for second place. Guerrero had Dries sweating there for a moment.
Yeah, and rightfully so, did a great job on those laps, but just not quite enough to take down Dries as we'll be moving things past Street into Street GT.
Yeah, Street GT will be next, and a lot of the rule set is largely similar. Street GT was born out of the same concept as Street Class as far as OEM aero and things of the sort. The tire widths are a little bit different. You have a max 315 width tire, but you're looking at the 6, 8, and 10 cylinder engines versus the 4s and the 6s. The track record here set last year by Andy Volkel in his C8 Corvette from Turn-In Concepts. That record still stands. This is one of the classes we haven't haven't had a new track record this weekend, but you're looking at mostly modern high horsepower cars. The championship this year, Luke McGrew and Ryan Matthews have been out in front. McGrew's all but got this wrapped up with all but 2 points left on the table. Matthews and Nicholas Hendricks. Then Mark Kilgore in fourth. He will be your top seed for this podium sprint, and he stands to gain the most by adding 26 points, or 25 points, I should say, to his total for the year.
Yeah, that could be a pretty big jump up the standings. The other driver's not out this weekend, so this is pretty big for Kilgore, who's he's got to take that M4 all the way to the top of the podium, have a couple of great laps, but will be competing against a bunch of BMWs and another Porsche. So this is should be a fun one. You see a few more drivers coming out.
Well, Wall Street GT heads out on the racetrack. Let's check in with our street class winner. It is Joshua Halka standing by with Jonathan Grace.
It's a 1:37.5 for Joshua Halka to set the pace and win podium sprint in the street class, and you did in the 777. Talk me through your lap.
Well, I knew that I had some pace available to me, so I was trying not to screw up. So whenever I go into a podium sprint, I just try to think, don't push it too hard. Don't try to do anything different than you've been doing all weekend. So I kind of did that. I actually ran out of gas at the very end here and had to start the car in the pit, so just barely made it that way, but the car held together and everything worked out great, so very happy.
Well, a little fuel in the tank helps you go a little bit faster, maximizing every way he can. Congratulations to Joshua Halka on the 777. It's your podium sprint winner in street class.
Thank you, Jonathan. Congratulations to Joshua Halka for getting it done, and it came a long way to be here. That car left Cincinnati last week to be here. So wow. Another one of our competitors that has traveled a long distance to run on the road course here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Street GT cars out for their warm-up now, and we've got 5 entrants here. Mark Kilgore, Charles Canal, Uni Jai, Joe Drain, and Randy Miller. 4 of these 5 cars are BMW M cars.
Yeah, it's a bit of a Porsche sandwich going on.
And one of those is the 587. That's Joe Drain in the BMW M2. The only non-M car out there, as you pointed out, was the 718 Cayman of Uni Jai, the blue and yellow car. Mark Kilgore and Charles Canal, they were really tight in the seating, so I'm fully expecting this to be a brawl and a throwdown between those 2 cars.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty tight battle for the top 2, although for Uni, improving pretty much all weekend, so I wouldn't be shocked to see Zhao just maybe make a bit of a disruption into second. We'll see how everything plays out as we now get into all of our flyers.
Yes, there's Joe Drain in the 587 coming across the start-finish line there. This is the 4th seed and stands to gain the most with just a little bit of time pickup. There's Mark Kilgore in the number 909. This is your street class 4th place competitor in the standings and your top seed here in this BMW M4. One of the hosts of the Perfect Lap podcast. They talk about time attack all the time, and Mark Yeager, the other co-host, is here this weekend hanging out. So they talk a lot about time attack and the state of the sport here in North America and the world. If you're interested in it, check it out. I'm a listener every week, but they've been following Mark's travels. This car was in the wall at Lime Rock Park, knocked the right front suspension wheel out after some contact with the Armco. They got the car repaired and shipped it all the way out here. And Kilgore's first time on the track here at Laguna Seca.
Looking very mint and very stable all the way through for a vehicle that would have taken a fair bit of damage. And this driver, Mark Kilgore, is so confident, especially considering that he's only been here for the first time. So he'll be our leader as they start to come across the line, and the driver with the most to lose right now, hoping to move up through the season's point standings. Kilgore's time comes on with a 1:36.523. Great start to this. And it's a heck of a banker. Yeah, that's a really solid lap, actually. Not too far off his best of the weekend. There's Randy Miller, the driver that stands the most to gain. And for Canal, it's a 1:38.16, so a little bit further off of Kilgore than maybe I thought. But Uni Jai comes across the line pretty tight behind Canal, 1:39.469. Here's Miller. Again, if a little bit of a time pickup will put him up on the podium, so chase what you can in that BMW M3. Should be seeing Drain's time come across here any moment as we get the last corner here from Miller. Ooh, yeah. And look at Drain, 1:40.585, so about a second off for Uni. Miller across the line. Ooh, jumping, 1:39.832, so Miller jumps up into 4th after Drain not on a great lap for him. Yeah, so a little bit of a shift there in the expected performance of these 4 cars, or 5 cars rather. There's Uni Jai in the Porsche 718 Cayman. Love this car, and I immediately in tech, when I was chatting with her, taking her picture, it was just a really neat car to look at with the blue and the yellow, and you don't see Porsche Caymans in this sort of
ocean sky blue, whatever you want to call it. It is a great looking color. And she's been really fast this weekend, knocking on the door of a second place if she can just find a little bit more time.
Yeah, it's there. It's shown in so many different times, and taking a very aggressive line coming through the corkscrew off in the bottom of that portion just a little bit as I cringe. But hey, you want one of those top spots. That's what you got to do.
It's a race car, man.
Yeah, I know.
No sympathies for the race car. Kilgore improves to a 36.205, makes a deeper hole for Kunal and Unijai. And we'll see what Kunal can do. I think he'll be across the stripe in just a moment. Oh, no, spin for Jai in turn 11.
That all looked good, but for Kunal, 137. Getting a little bit closer. I think that could have been it for Uni. That might have been a second place there for that run if it wouldn't have looped it out into turn 11.
Yeah, Kunal comes across the line. There was a pickup for him. 137.386. Jai will not make an improvement. We'll see if Randy Miller can stay in fourth over Joe Drain in that 587 BMW M2.
Oh, that is absolutely gut-wrenching, but hopefully able to pick things back up. And there's Drain bumping up into third.
Wow.
139.2 flat. That is a big pickup.
Yeah, and Randy Miller is going to go back to fourth place over Jai. This is really tight back there for the last step on the podium. The thing for Jai is she didn't have enough of a run-up to get a decent lap on lap 3 either. So third seed in the sprint, just too much throttle coming out of turn 11. That is heartbreaking as to get a look at Kunal, the second place runner, trying to chase down Kilgore on this last lap.
Yeah, going to be really tough with the spread they've got right now, but we'll have to see. The stopwatch doesn't lie, and we can take all the guesses we want, but at the end of the day, it's the lowest time that's going to stand the highest on the podium. And for Charles Kunal, he is looking very tidy coming through the corkscrew.
Down through rainy curve now. Charles Kunal just chasing a little bit. Huge wiggle there. Did he gather it up? He does. That was a sketchy moment. Here comes Kilgore in the number 909 BMW M4. Mark Kilgore across the line. And lap 3 is also a pickup at a 135.987. What a lap there by Mark Kilgore.
That is a heck of a run. And now for Kunal, I mean, this is it. What will the time say?
Pickup, but not enough. Second place for Charles Kunal, 136.878. And now it's the battle for third. And unfortunately, they're held up a little bit, Joe Drain, as Unijai, after that spin, is going to make her way back around. Now, I'm curious. We'll see. Sometimes if you get held up, they might give you one extra lap there, but I'm not sure if it's going to help Joe Drain. He's already scored in third, so he doesn't really need it. I don't know that he was going to beat Kunal at that 36 regardless.
Yeah, it'd be tough to say. Not an improvement, and that holdup definitely did not help that situation. So really, it'll come down to Randy Miller if he's able to, and doesn't. So 139, and I think that's going to be our order.
I think you're right. And again, it's unfortunate to see him get held up a little bit, but I don't think he was going to gain 2 seconds, and he didn't get knocked off the podium. So I think that all kind of worked out as best as it could. That will put Mark Kilgore in the number 909 from Turn In Concepts on the top in Street GT. Job well done, and Charles Kunal, one of the local drivers here. Job well done. I have to say that battle between those two in their M4s was really fun to watch this weekend.
Yeah, it was super great. Very equal equipment and very equal in driving, and just a few tenths between them in so many different sectors. And this is our now our official scoring.
Yeah, look at Mark Kilgore there, 135.987, just 7 tenths off the PB of the weekend, and with track conditions that are much warmer than earlier today. Charles Kunal in second place, then Joe Drain sneaking up there and actually scoring third, knocking Randy Miller down, and Unijai, unfortunately, she had such good pace, but just the spin kind of messed up 2 laps there. If it had been in the middle of lap 2, she might have had a better run on that third and final lap.
Yeah, it's tough when a Porsche decides it steps out. There's very little you can do but be a passenger and hope that everything is all right when it comes to.
It sounds like Unijai had an issue with the suspension, maybe got a curb or something. I don't know if it was an alignment slip or what, but that's what Jonathan just let me know that she told him when she came back in. Street Mod, here's a look at our class overview. Luca Barberis has the track record here. No, you see that right. He has the track record in street class from 2023 and the Street Mod record in 2025. Typical power here, you're talking up to about 750 horsepower at the top end, but these are cars that are still street legal that are just, kind of right up at the limit of what you want to drive around in. Dewey DeWitt's already locked up the championship this year, 104 points, perfect score for the weekend. Jamie Santos had a rod bearing failure earlier in the weekend, but Cal Fortner is here, and Luca Barberis is in 5th. So those two drivers still have a chance to kind of mix things around. But before we get on track for Street Mod, let's check in with our Street GT winner, and that is going to be Mark Kilgore in the number 909 down in the pit lane. Jonathan, what you got?
Well, in Street GT, it's Mark Kilgore who's on top in the end of the podium sprint. Talk us through your lap. Did it look comfortable? You were up by over a second at one point in the stage and darn near a second by the end.
Yeah, you know, that's part of the tough thing about podium sprint. You're out there flying blind. I don't have communication, so every lap I'm pushing up until the final lap when I got in my fastest lap, and I just kept pushing. I really wanted a 35, a 135. I felt like if I could hit that, I'd be solid, I'd be safe, and it turned out that that was the winning goal.
It sure was. How much does this mean to you? I could see you and your turn-in team giving each other the fist bump as you drove by to do the interview.
It means a lot. This is my first win with GRIDLIFE, so it means a lot.
Well, first of many, Mark, congratulations. You're podium sprint champion here in Street GT.
You can hear the emotion there, and that's a great point. It is his first win. A lot of seconds, a lot of thirds, a lot of fourths, but it's a win for Mark Kilgore, his first ever. He'll go home with the big hardware this weekend as we get on track for Street Mod and Track Battle Podium Sprint. Luca Barberis, past street class champion of the GRIDLIFE competition. He's on track now at his GR Supra. This is a new car to him this year, and he's been flying in it. And down into turn one, he blitzed the track record really early in the weekend and followed it up again earlier with more track record breaking. And this 444, I think, is the car to beat.
He has gotten so comfortable with this new chassis, and it suits him so well, suits his driving style so well. And it's one of those, I'm sure for him, he sat in it, got a couple laps, and went, oh, this is where I've been, this is where I should have been for a long time.
It'll be Cal Fortner following him around in second, and then it'll be Kai Anderson, Isaac Torres, and Obi Oladipo in a Chevrolet Corvette. So 2 Supras, a Mercedes-AMG GT, and 2 Corvettes in Street Mod here. 24 cars, the largest class this weekend, and Barberis into turn 6.
Yeah, Street Mod's a very, very competitive group of drivers and some insane cars, insane builds, and just, I mean, pretty much on the edge of what is street legal, I would say. There's a few cars I have some questions about, that's for sure.
Well, the ice cream test. You have to be able to take your spouse to go get ice cream in it without, well, maybe you get pulled over, but maybe you won't get wrenched out of your car, I suppose.
Fun fact, I actually went for ice cream with Dewey one year, so can't confirm it, made it to ice cream.
Here's Luca down through turn 10. And a 130 was his best of the weekend. I don't know that we're going to see that fall here, but let's see. It was 130.379. Barberis right out to the edge. See that car on the limit of grip. As soon as that car hit the paint, it kicked the rear out. And the GR Supra, number 444, across the stripe. Time to chase. Wow, 130.369 goes faster and resets the track record in WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca.
What was that about? I don't think he's going to be able to do it, Kyle.
Wow.
I think he might have been listening to you.
That was a nice looking calm lap. I didn't think that's a banker lap, or it's supposed to be, but all right, new track record.
Do you think we could drop in a 129?
Yeah, big slide though for the 234. That was a big moment coming down the hill for Obi Oladipo in the C8 Corvette. And yeah, I think you're right. We could see 29s here.
Might happen. Cal Fortner getting in a 132, but gets passed by Anderson with a 131.789. So we're already getting some craziness going on the timing charts.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. Cal Fortner, his first lap a little bit more conservative, but I know that Mercedes-AMG is capable of 700 plus horsepower. Isaac Torres to second place at his GR Supra, 131.589.
Yeah, both Supras top in the charts right now, showing how dominant that chassis really is. And our Corvette getting a little bit squirrely, and then it comes back to haunt him with just a 133.
Oh, Cal Fortner's got the wipers on. Not sure what's going on there. It's definitely not raining, so there's no precipitation in the air. I'm not sure. He's giving a point by here. He must have a problem. This is heartbreaking for Cal Fortner to come all this way. And maybe he's just cooling down and just going slow to do that. I don't know, but Luca Barberis, Luca's, I think, off pace. I don't think he's actually on pace in the Supra. He might also be doing a cool down here and doing a fast, slow, fast lap here, I think is what's going on. Here's the 661 of Kai Anderson.
My only concern is when I see wipers go on, I immediately think coolant. And I've seen that happen before where coolant starts spraying up, so hopefully that's not the case there. But you never know. Or he just reached for the blinker and got the wipers instead. I've done that many times. For Kai Anderson, though, looking pretty good, sitting in third right now with that 131.769. Can he improve it? Coming through 11, looking good. Going for that straight out point. Get back on the throttle real hard over the rumble strips. Good dig out of that corner.
Barberis is coming into the pits. He's happy with his lap. Let's see what Anderson can do. No pickup that time. 131.769.
That's a bold move from Luca. Shut her down without a continuation on that lap.
Big slip there for Anderson. at turn 1. Isaac Torres picks up a little bit more, 131.577. Look, I know that Luca felt comfortable, but that pulling in when you have another lap on the table, I'm always nervous about that, even with the sizable advantage he's had here this weekend. Opio Oladipo goes a little quicker, but stays P5.
Yeah, that's it's going to be tough. That C8's a fantastic car, but it's going to need just a little bit more to try and get everything out of it. And, you know, brand new, not a ton for parts out there, so it's going to be a bit more of a struggle. Now Kyle Fortner looks like he's back on the pace.
Yeah, but this is the, again, I'm not a huge fan of the fast, slow, fast strategy here, because you end up sort of catching cars that are doing the one and done strategy there. You see the car up the road. You end up sort of finding traffic. If everyone just went hard all the time, you wouldn't run into this, but we'll see if Cal Fortner gets a nice clean lap all the way back around to the finish line, up the hill towards the corkscrew. And again, this is the risk that you take here a little bit. He's chasing Kai Anderson, the P3 seed right now. That's the car that Fortner needs to beat for a trophy here this weekend.
Yeah, that was big coming through the corkscrew. We'll make sure that and hope that Anderson gets out of the way of Cal Fortner, who's on a complete heater. Anderson should be able to see him in the mirrors, but both drivers doing quite well coming through this big downhill section. Cal Fortner looking pretty tidy, and this will be it for him. So he's going to have a great exit through 11. The Corvette gets out of the way.
It's going to work out nicely up onto the front straightaway for Cal Fortner. I think if this lap was a heater, it should be enough, but Torres is flying behind as well. Checkered flag. Cal Fortner does not improve. Isaac Torres does not improve. Barberis, Torres, Anderson, your podium winners here in Street Mod.
Wow, what a bold move there from Luca, but it seems to have paid off, doing the one and done and back into the pits. That's pretty crazy. I was hoping to see the 129 selfishly, but I think he's got it in him. But for right now, save the car, move on. Cal Fortner, man, just outside that top 3.
Well, Luca Barberis did the one and done. Let's head down to Jonathan Grace and check in with Luca. The one and done strategy gets it done.
Luca Barberis out on top and by a comfortable margin. I think you were 1.2 seconds clear. You pulled into your box even a little bit early. How confident were you in that lap?
I was very confident. I matched the record that I had set yesterday morning, and the track felt a little bit greasier than it did the couple of days before. So I was like, you know what? Pushing it. Once everything gets hot, especially turn 3 and 4, get really understeery, which I blame the drifters. Yeah, it was just not worth trying to get in another couple tenths. I knew that the competition was, I had a safe margin, and so I just had to bring it home. That's what's cool about the podium sprint format. You have to tie it all together till the very end. I felt that a 30.3 was more than enough, and I just did the one lap and came in.
Well, it was enough indeed to put the 444 Supra on top in Street Mod, guys. That's Luca Barberis coming out on top in the podium sprint.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Thanks, Jonathan. Thanks, Luca. Congratulations. And there's your results for podium sprint for Street Mod. Luca Barberis, Isaac Torres jumping up into second. Kai Anderson stealing a podium. Heartbreak for Cal Fortner there. Just did not get the lap he needed.
No, just didn't come together, and maybe that cool down did not play into his favor. I don't think the traffic from Anderson really caused much. Just couldn't put it together at the last minute. And then Depot? There we go. That's a tough one, man. You've been nailing that name all weekend, though.
There's class overview here for Track Mod. Callan Spence is the record holder. And these cars are generally cars that have aerodynamic performance that is beyond what you'd have on the road. You're looking at 500 to 1,000 horsepower. And advanced aero, drivetrain swaps, all that stuff is allowed, sequential gearboxes, things of the sort. And the car that is on top, the top seed for this is Callan Spence, the number 152 Lotus Elise, and a 1,000 horsepower 2GR engine. Here's a look at the points. We're not going to see any real shifting or shuffling in here. None of the top 10 of the points are going to be present in this sprint, and that is because Chris Boersma missed out qualifying for this by just a couple tenths of a second, unfortunately. But Alan Patton should be safe to go home with that championship trophy post-pit race.
Yeah, we saw Jackie Ding with that incident, putting him out for the rest of the season. But now we focus on just a new group of drivers and get to tell some new incredible stories and potentially see some more records broken at this point in time. Callan Spence might just have it in him the way he's been flying around this track.
Yeah, so Callan Spence in the 152, that's that green and yellow Lotus that will follow around here. As we look a little bit further down, that is Cody Bulkley in the Corvette, the 691. Here is Spence up onto the front straightaway here and up under the gantry to start a lap. Green flag for the number 152. and a V6 making 1,000 horsepower, but it's a Toyota V6, so that heart is going to be very, very strong. And through the Andretti hairpin, real point and shoot there through that opening corner.
Yeah, I really like the way he's taken that double apex, like a true double apex all the way around, opting not to swoop through it, get the angle in. I think with that much horsepower, you've got to be in that straight line before you get on the throttle, or it's going to start stepping around on you very, very quick. But being just very, very sorted through this first part of the track.
He is flying right now. This car is so cool to watch. Look at the rub blocks. You can see where they're positioned under the splitter, two sequential streams of sparks. And heading up the hill now, and again, just waiting. It seemed like it was building boost there for a second as it came out of turn 5. And the rear track width also really wide under that bodywork. Almost seems like those rear wheels are another, what, 3 or 4 inches out from the front?
Yeah, it could be. But for right now, that recipe is definitely working for him. Already taken in a bunch of insane lap times, and we'll see if we get another one here. And I'm wondering, is Cal Spence somebody just do the one and done like we saw earlier on, or keep those flyers going, get as much track time as he possibly can?
I'm not really sure. I mean, he ran a couple laps in a row earlier in the day, and again, I'm always a fan of just run it till the checker flies, but Callan, I have to say, seems a little, it's hard to judge some of these cars, but it looked like he was being a little tentative off into the corkscrew. We'll see if it's up in the 126s like we saw him in qualifying. Up onto the front straightaway here, we will not see Jackie Ding, who was our number 3 seed coming into this. Here's Callan Spence across the board and a 133, so that's not as fast as we were anticipating, and he looked like he was being a little cautious. So Bailey Woods goes quicker on that opening lap, a 129.839, so this is going to turn things around a little bit. Maybe just building some tire temperature, though, in that Lotus, so it's far from over. Gabe Zamora jumps to second.
Yeah, this is getting crazy now as we start to get a few more of these times on the board. So yeah, Bailey Woods absolutely throwing down 129.839. So really, really good time off the bat, as now we see Buckley up there as well. So yeah, Callan Spence must have just been playing a bit of a strategy.
He was really fast the first sector, and it looked like he just sort of missed 5, and so after that, may have just bailed out for another lap. So I'm sure he's got more in it, and he was quicker by about 2 seconds than Woods earlier in the day. But here's that pink and blue BMW M3 turning in. Watch those end plates. Don't hit them on the curbs there, buddy. Those are expensive parts to be slamming off the yellow anti-cuts. But up to the corkscrew now, using all the racetrack and really hard on the brakes as he woes this car down.
Yeah, wants to be on that straight line, not breaking through the turn. Whoa, almost jumping that BMW coming through the corkscrew. That's one way to put together a flyer, and thankfully all the bits and bobs seem to be still attached coming through that section.
Expect to hear Callan Spence come under the flag stand here in a moment. We'll see if he'll improve on that 133.5. Here's Bailey Woods into the braking zone now for turn 11. And here they come up onto the front straight. Spence is just up the road. Here we go. Last lap beginning. Now Spence to the top. 128.492. Here comes Woods across the stripe. 128.486. No, it's a 128.486. It's quicker by what? A couple thousandths of a second? That's unbelievable.
Holy, that is crazy. Now Spence, I mean, all the pressure is on. Hopefully this continues to be a flyer all the way around, and it's going to be a big, big battle coming up here now. Oh, man, Bailey put down such an incredible time and cutting that line right here. Oh man, just two-wheeling at one point in time through that corkscrew, but it pays off for Bailey Woods.
I mean, what is that? Only a couple of thousandths between them, and we're going to keep watching this. And he's off. So, whoa, that was a little dicey down there into turn 5. And he's given up that last lap. Bailey Woods is on top.
Wow.
And, I mean, that's so crazy close.
That's nuts.
I think Woods is bailed out too, so that's just how it's going to be at the end of this. I mean, I can't believe what I just saw. Over the crest in what? I mean, 6 thousandths of a second?
Between the two of them, that's, man, I'm happy we've got very, very good equipment, because that is an incredibly tight margin.
That is crazy close. Gabe Zamora up into 3rd place. I don't know if we'll see him come back around again. And Bailey Woods, I don't know that he knew coming into the session that he'd even really have a chance. And here's Zamora, and yeah, he's sticking the hand out the window there, as the Lotus was on the cool down sort of in the way, but Zamora comes back around, and he'll finish out his lap. Bailey Woods is going to come on down. He'll have no idea that that's how close the margin just was.
Holy, well, yeah, wow. And for Callan Spence, same thing, maybe not knowing that sitting in second after that run.
I think it's safe to assume that that Spence assumed that he had won that, and Woods assumed that he had finished second, but that is not how it turned out. 0.006. I mean, that's unbelievable. I can't believe what we just saw.
Flabbergasted, absolutely flabbergasted, but that's racing for you, folks.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's have a look here at the results for track mod in this session, because we are checker now, and that was crazy to see how close things were between those two. Bailey Woods faster on the first lap because Spence throttled up for a second go, and when they came back around, Callan Spence jumped to the top of the scoring pylon, but only for a moment before Gabe Zamora jumped up into third place.
It was just wanted to put it into context what a separation of 0.006 is like. I mean, we saw it here in the real world, but that is wild. And there is your times coming up on the board. Bailey Woods, wow, 128.486. Callan Spence, 128.492. 0.006 separation.
Have you ever? I mean,
no, that is absolutely wild.
I know that last year the Falcon Club TR Championship was won by 0.003, so I know we've had a closer result. But anyway, let's head down to Bailey Woods, the 136. He wins track bodies with Jonathan Grace.
Ready? Fucking A, dude. Go, Grace. Let's go! There's a lot of excitement for you, Bailey. A heck of a way to end Podium Sprint and Track Mod. You were less than 1/6,000th of a second clear, but you made it work. Talk me through your lap.
Well, you know, I went out pretty relaxed because I thought I knew first place was out of reach. But time attack, anything happens, and I guess I was consistent enough to make it work.
Where was the time? Where did you find that extra little margin?
Well, it was a little bit slower than earlier. I just tried to do exactly what I knew what needed to be done. I clicked off what I knew I could click off, and I guess that's good enough for today.
Bailey Woods coming out on top in track mod, and with the team to celebrate with him.
Wow. Look at that. Great energy down there in the pit lane. Congratulations. That is the time attack battle. We did not expect that. I mean, we had seen mostly, the driver that we expected to win each class had won that up until track mod, but we still have a couple of categories left to go. It is Unlimited next. Let's have a look here at the class overview for Unlimited. The track record, Ben Sloss. No one's going to beat this weekend, I don't think. 121.177 and that crazy very low production Ford GT. Typical power north of 700 horsepower. You can run on slick tires as long as your car has a VIN or is a silhouette of a car that does have a VIN. It's legal here with safety modifications that go with. But you're going to see Mike Dussault, I hope, out there on track with a handful of others. Leaf Storer in the Nissan GTR, Ryan Redukel, Joshua Briggs, and Tom Tang going for the records here. Here's the point standings. Jim Raucher, Nessus Pizzellis, Andres Bertulis, Lauder, and Fleming. None of these drivers are here this weekend. Sean Bassett is, but didn't make the podium sprint. So we're not going to see any shift or shuffle in the points for this class here this session, but we're about to watch some really high horsepower cars go around this 2.2 mile lap.
Yeah, and as you alluded to, hopefully we see Mike Dussault out there, obviously getting towed off track a little bit later on today, and there he is. Grand return.
Oh man, thundering down the front straightaway and into turn number 2, braking really, really hard. This 1967 Chevrolet Camaro. There's not a lot of Camaro left under it, is there?
No, just barely the silhouette as we talked about. So it fits within the rule book, and see him get around this track, and even under kind of a tame corner, we already see the scraping going on with that front splitter.
Carving his way through turn 4. Ooh, it doesn't look like it's accelerating like I would expect. Well, maybe. Again, with 2,000 horsepower, I thought it would have had a bit more get up and go than that. There he goes. He's back on it now.
Tough to say. So maybe taking a little bit out of it on a banker, but Mike Dussault, fingers crossed, be able to get it. That thing is running so low and so aggressive right now. We might be getting some fines from the track for the amount he's gouging out of there. We're going to get an asphalt bill for all the damage from Mike Dussault.
The thing is this car, again, I think you don't want to break it. You want to go home and grab your trophy. That might have looked unlikely given he had an issue earlier in heat number 6, but he had a 3-second advantage over Ryan Redukel, so he doesn't need to push super hard, and I think that's maybe what he's just trying to do is he didn't break the record, but at least get the event win, so he's just got to make sure that he gets better than about a 128 or so, which is what we expect Redukel to be able to run in that MX-5. Here comes Redukel now down the corkscrew in that blue and white car. Car that engine swapped over the weekend to stay back in this fight. Had a big spin at the corkscrew yesterday. Dussault at a 126.570. He was hauling. It just didn't really look like it on the backstretch there.
I just think that one part, maybe a quick lift or something, but either way, an amazing time, 126. Now we see Sora coming in with a 128.496. So a little bit off the pace as Redukel coming around 11, doing a good job, getting a little bit more pointy through that section, gets back on the power. Man, that thing picks up speed so quick. As soon as he gets that time on the board, we'll let you know. But Redukel with a 131.616, so just a little bit off the pace.
Ooh, Briggs knocks him down a step. So these are the drivers in Podium Sprint here in these MX-5s. It's going to be an MX-5 duel for the podium right now. A 130.3 to a 131.6. Redukel's got to find some time.
Yeah, he's got a little bit more work to do, and we know he can be aggressive, and we've seen that spin go through the corkscrew, so we know things can get a little bit crazy. And there is our GTR now coming through the track. So that is going to be Leaf Storer.
Yeah. This Nissan GTR, sorry Jacob, this Nissan GTR, really rare car to see in GRIDLIFE Track Battle, and neat to have it here. And running for the all-wheel drive track record, which he needs a couple seconds to do to beat Craig Coker, who is here in a Tesla Model S.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. The GTRs are incredible. I mean, just absolutely slam-packed full of technology, but they're heavy. They're a bulky car. So, I mean, taking off of going after an electric, that's going to be a tough one. And
oh, wow, Dussault just went quicker again, 126.113. And we'll see what Leaf Storer's got in response.
To the line and Storer 127. So bringing the times down, taking the fight to Dussault. Maybe he's got a little bit left in him on this last lap.
And here's Joshua Briggs. They were tearing apart this car on I think Friday night to reset the transmission, and he looks like he's bailed out. So either he's on a cool down or he doesn't think he can go quicker, and he's going to need to because Redukel just went third quick, 128.017. Here's Dussault heading up the hill towards turn 6 now.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of last go for this Camaro, which is a bit sad because it's an incredible vehicle, a bit more sparks. So trying to dig in for just a little bit more time, getting that front splitter planted and those sparking bars, putting on a big show. Great for photos, that's for sure.
Down the corkscrew for the final time this year. Mike Dussault's efforts here last year ended prematurely with an accident at turn 6 in 2024. Just got a little bit wrong and shot off to the right into the gravel, and that's where his weekend ended. This year, though, he's made it to the end, to Podium Sprint, and hoping to go home with a first place trophy, but he's got to hold off this Nissan GTR of Leaf Storer. A couple of corners left for both of them there. Look how tight he was to the curb at Rainey.
He's doing a good job of picking up time wherever he can. All-wheel drive allows you to get that dig through those sections, and Dussault across line. Will he get a better time?
Yes.
He does. 125.5. Wow.
Within a tenth of his PB. And Leaf Storer comes across the line next, and I don't know that we'll see a pickup for him. And the field comes, here he comes across the stripe. I thought he'd already crossed, but no pickup that time. Then it's Redukel and Briggs. All that's left.
Redukel looked like he was on a heater, and we'll find out here when he comes across the line what kind of time he's able to collect. Can he beat that 128.017? And should be seeing him at the line right now.
And it's not going to matter. He does pick up, but it's not going to matter because Briggs is not on a flyer. Briggs is still cooling down. So Redukel will stay on the podium here. Dussault, Storer, Redukel, your podium in Track Battle Podium Sprint for Unlimited.
Wow, great times from all these drivers. Dussault so close to beating his PB on that run, and I think he wanted it, though. I do think he wanted it.
Yeah, I think he was so close. And a car like this is just a handful to drive basically anywhere other than Talladega, probably. I mean, again, this car ran up the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb earlier this year in the hands of Robin Shute. And again, we see Dussault at basically everything that we do in GRIDLIFE. It's great to see him continue to bring his car out and compete with us. And he will go home with a first place trophy over Leaf Storer and Ryan Redukel in the 280 and 789.
Yeah, unfortunately, Josh Briggs maybe getting a little bit hot throughout that run, not able to get a last flyer in, but a great standing from all these drivers. And there is how things play up at the end of this weekend in our second last run group for our Podium Sprint Unlimited. And now we move into the crazy cars, into the Super Unlimited Series. Some absolute, I mean, look at this lineup.
Super Unlimited has got a treat for us. It'll be Cody Voschultz, Jeremiah Burton, Danny Aitken, Cole Powelson, and Scott Birdsall. I mean, we joke about Forza Open Lobby, but like actually, look at this lineup. It's like just scrolling through the iRacing car list and just picking all the craziest looking things.
I love seeing the different sizes as well between all the vehicles.
Well, before we get super limited on the racetrack, they're going to head around for their warm-up lap. And again, there's no points on the line here, and there's not really any championship or anything to worry about. So they're just going to go out there and run some really cool lap times. And we're hoping to hear from Mike Dussault. We'll head down there in a moment, but it looks like those cars are headed on the racetrack. Leading them out is Cody Voschultz in the number 118, Jeremiah Burton from Big Time in the Catfish Camaro Trans Am, then Danny Aitken in the Chevy SS.
Yeah, this is it's going to be a ton of fun, and then wrapping things up, Scott Birdsell out there in the Legend. That'll be fun. Not the fastest car out there by any means, but still probably looking just for a personal best by the time the laps are wrapped up.
Yeah, Cody Voschultz, another driver that has run this car on the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb as recently as this year. He used to run motorcycles up on the side of the mountain, but let's head down to Mike Dussault, winner of Unlimited in Podium Sprint.
Mike Dussault, the fastest and by quite some margin in the Unlimited class. You were 1.7 seconds clear. Unbelievable. You went to the top of the charts and then kept improving and chipping lap time away.
Yeah, we decided to go out and just do kind of a bank lap and build on it because earlier today we actually had an issue with the rear suspension. So I kind of wanted to lean on it slowly and make sure everything was cool, but we couldn't have done this without our great crew. They busted their butts since the early session to get the car back together. So it's all hats off to them getting the car back together. So awesome team effort.
You caught me by surprise right before we went live. You said, I think there was more in it. Where the heck would you find more time?
Oh, there's a lot more in the turns. It's just a little bit tricky for me to trust it and lean on it on some of the entries. We did have an incident here last year, and that's still kind of a little bit in the back of my mind. There's definitely a bunch more time in 6 for us, but we decided before we even came here we were going to be a little bit cautious there. So I think there's also some more time going into the corkscrew. So we'll be back next year and find it.
Well, P1 in the Podium Sprint in the Unlimited class with a 1:20.25.
Thanks, Jonathan. Thanks, Mike. As we get the super limited cars on the racetrack, there's your number 5 seat, Scott Birdsall. If you're here at the racetrack, you heard Cody Voschultz. Here he is in that crazy custom thing. And again, Pikes Peak Hill Climb competitor had this car out there in the open wheel category. I mean, it looks like the Moonlander on 4 wheels.
Yeah, it definitely does. We have it listed as just open.
Yeah.
The vehicle is just open. It is it's a crazy brainchild that Cody has brought out and graced us with his presence and this type of vehicle because, yeah, it's just cool. And I like it. Whoa, that hurts.
Yeah, that was a big clobber down the mountain there, but again, the Super Unlimited category is just a catch-all for all the factory race cars and completely custom tube frame things that don't have any resemblance to road-going vehicles. So that's why you've got this category here. Again, no points, no trophies on the line, unfortunately, but you got some tire smoke coming from Cole Powelson's Striker at the moment. I don't know if he's got a flat or something, but something's not very happy on that car.
Yeah, not entirely sure. We saw some smoking going on earlier this weekend from that car as well. Didn't get every single bit of lap time out, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on.
Cody Voschultz, his first lap was the best he's gone this weekend by 0.2 of a second, 1:28.133, and he's reset his own PB.
Wow, okay. Might as well do it now if you've got the opportunity.
Jeremiah Burton is going to cross the line underneath us, 1:32. He's been in the 30s, I think, so far this weekend. 1:29, actually, 1:29.5 has been his best time. Powelson at a 1:36. Where's Powelson landed, actually? That's a great question. Powelson's best time was a 1:38, so he just gone 2 seconds quicker in that car.
Wow, in a car that's popping a little bit of smoke. So,
yeah.
I mean, that smoke might just be leaking some horsepower. We should be able to see Birdsell around here at some point at 1:46. So definitely a completely different pace than a lot of these cars. But Birdsell having fun out there and putting on a cool show as now we see Jeremiah Burton taking every little bit of track out there.
Yeah, this is really cool to see a car of this vintage here in the hands of Jeremiah Burton from Big Time. I'm sure that it'll be a YouTube video with the GoPro on the top of the car, and no traction control, no ABS, just big slick tires and plunging down the corkscrew at one of North America's most famous circuits. And though there's no points on the line, I think everyone's looking forward to just battling and seeing which of these extremely eclectic cars is going to come out on top.
Yeah, and it's, it's a battle of what you can do as well.
Voschultz again by That is almost as fast as Dussault, by the way, a 1:26.627. That's incredibly fast.
That is nuts.
That's the second fastest car here this weekend now.
Jeez. And we'll see if those times start to drop even more. Now Jeremiah Burton coming across the line was on 1:32, 1:28.
His best lap of the weekend.
There we go. Man, finding some confidence in this last session of the day.
Wow, this is cool. This is really, really neat to watch. And here comes Powelson, still blue smoke coming out the tailpipes, but across the stripe, will he pick up still? The answer is, didn't see the yellow wipe or the green that time by, but a 35.121 that time. So another pickup, 3 seconds quicker than this striker has gone so far.
Wow, every driver so far just making headway when it comes to the times. And it's, as we talked about earlier this weekend, they, last couple of runs out there, let's go have some fun with it, and hopefully everybody is able to keep it nice and tidy. Still seeing that blue smoke, though, a little bit worrisome.
Yeah, looks like Burton might be, can't really tell. I think he's off the pace. Birdsall 1:44. That's the best lap he's done by, 2 seconds so far? So everybody in this Super Unlimited category has gone quicker. Burton's going to woe it down now on this final lap of Podium Sprint. And Cody Voschholz in that Ford Custom Open is going to be on top by quite a margin. Here's Scott Birdsall in the Legends car. Voschholz quicker again, 1:26.325.
Yeah, that's going to do it for him, but what an incredible weekend and an incredible display of racing power in a very, very unique vehicle. So now we take a look at Birdsall going around this track. It looks fun. I want to buy one so bad now.
It's like the Rush SR's older brother.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. It's like, all right, come here, whippersnapper. Let me show you I'll show you how to get around this track.
Yeah, this was Grandpa's Rush SR.
Yeah, basically. Oh man. Yeah, Scott Birdsall always out there to turn heads, and maybe not always the fastest vehicle, although he's broke records in several different categories, and now coming out and just breaking necks as he gets that Legends car over the hill.
Over the curbing, Cole Powelson once again improves, that time into the 34s. Love hearing that thing accelerate down the hill.
Yeah, get it on the limiter, quick through the shifts. There's not a lot of room in that cockpit either. You can barely get your arm moved back to get it into the next gear.
It's real high-strung sounding too.
Yeah.
High revs, tiny displacement, and Cody Voschholz. Well, look at him celebrating. That's a win in Super Unlimited. It doesn't count for much, but hey, I think it wins everyone's hearts, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure, and it brings a lot of attention to what he's been doing throughout his entire career, which is just doing crazy stuff, driving crazy vehicles, and for Voschholz, another amazing weekend for him in an incredible vehicle.
Yeah, we don't only get to see cars like this out so many times a year, so really, really cool to have these drivers bring this out. And of course, we're about to wrap our show here this weekend, so do us a favor, if you're watching here on YouTube and you haven't yet subscribed, this is not it for the year. We're going to be at Pittsburgh International Race Complex in less than a month for our season finale for IBOC GLTC and GRIDLIFE GT. And Jacob, we're going to hopefully chat with Cody Voschholz here before the end of the show and then wrap things up after some thank yous, but this has been unbelievable.
It's been amazing, and what an incredible weekend. I'm kind of sad it's coming to an end now, but just means big things, and pit race is going to be absolutely incredible.
And here's a look at your results for the Super Unlimited category. The first time we've ever filled out completely in Podium Sprint. Let's head down and chat with Cody Voschholz after running his nearly a PB, well actually a PB, 1:26.325. What you got, Jonathan?
Your Podium Sprint winner in the Super Unlimited class is Cody Voschholz. A heck of a lap and a heck of a car. How did it feel out there?
It felt really good. I gotta obviously thank everybody that came out on this long trip with me and helped me prepare this car and everything. But as far as the track goes, man, it's just been so awesome.
We saw you fighting through a little bit of an issue earlier this morning, but it looks like you've got the thing absolutely dialed in. You set the second overall fastest time across this whole afternoon session.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said it looked like you were battling through a little bit of an issue earlier on, but that doesn't seem to matter now. You put the car on top in class.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a carburetor issue this morning, but my guys worked hard on it and got it fixed, and obviously it's running pretty good.
Well, some great representation from one of the many amazing Pikes Peak cars out here in the Super Unlimited class. It's the 118. Cody Voschholz is on top, guys.
Thank you.